this year, next year, the year after, if we use EU AMLA as the example, we're seeing the draft technical standards come out. We're seeing the open, consultations being released. We're going to see a number of those throughout the year to gain that feedback. And a lot of them, if we look at, you mentioned the CDD requirements around Article 28 and Article 19, those are very much data driven. There's a lot of change that has to happen. It's going to have to happen across multiple different ways, whether it's the people, whether it's the systems, whether it's processes, how that's going to interject into controls. And it is most definitely going to affect whether you're doing something centralized or how you're executing to uplift something in an area that you may not have newer technology or it's very legacy. So most definitely these things start to sort of fold together. But what about from the Allianz perspective, Meng? Are you guys also operating in that sort of hybrid space?
Yeah, we are going towards the hybrid. So in the past, for many years, we were very much decentralized. And of course, we learned our lesson because if you are very much heavy on decentralization model, you inevitably end up in very fragmentation, heterogeneous processes and systems that you have in all your operating entities. And this is like what I mentioned earlier, it's not sustainable. So we realized that a lot of our entities, they have different risk methodology, very inconsistent alert handling, the quality of investigations, some better, some not. And all this have contributed to very limited group visibility and oversight at our end. That is not a very comfortable position that we were in. And therefore, in our transformation project, which we kickstart 2 years ago, we moved very much towards the hybrid model, because if you have everything centralized very excessively, this model would not work as well, because it will lose, exactly like what Martina has mentioned. You need to have the business context, you need to have local regulatory sensitivity and operational agility. Because if very much centralized, we also thought about it, that it will end up very highly bureaucratic structure that is technically standardized, but operationally very much disconnected of how the risk actually manifested locally, because every business model, they are different. Even though we are insurance, everyone thinks that our insurance products are similar, but actually they are not. They have very different customer segmentations and nuances in the regulation. So at the end, we feel that the genuine model that will bring us to meet or to comply with the EU AML regulation will be the hybrid model, where we retain what strategy, our intelligence, standards, and oversight are centralized, when the execution remains closer to the business, and of course with very clear defined control boundaries. I also have mentioned, like, for example, our golden copy, which is the IT monitoring and screening software. This is centralized. So we have developed this golden copy to be deployed in all our operating entities. And if there is any delta or deviations, they have to come to the group deviation body that we have to look into it, and we have to approve. Therefore, we also keep a list or registers of all the deviations from the software. That will give us a very good oversight and consistent controls. And similarly, for typology development, risk methodology, and all these are far more effective when it is centralized. This will benefit from our scale, consistency, and specialized expertise, especially cross-entity visibility. The financial crime threats, as Charmaine, you have mentioned, they are increasingly transnational, right? If isolated local teams simply do not have the ability to identify broader patterns or emerging typologies or systemic weaknesses across jurisdictions. Therefore, we are of the view that having it centralized is beneficial to all at the group and the operating entity levels.